I'm seeing a lot more Kelly Green,
No doubt about it,
than typical, and someone who knows a lot about Kelly Green, by the way.
Somebody who played in the Kelly Green himself, Brian Baldinger. Baldy, how are you? Did you? Where did the Kelly Green rank in your hierarchy of the jerseys you got to wear?
Well, I mean, I liked all the teams I played for. I kind of saying God bless America every, Dallas, Indy, Philly. But I mean, when I put those Eagle wings on, I mean, that was a special feeling. I think we had one year, maybe '93, Zach. I don't know. It was a commemorative year for some reason. I forget exactly what it was, but I mean, we had the Eagle patch on the side of our jerseys. Like, that was pretty cool wearing the wings.
I like that. Well, obviously, Baldy, the first thing we want to talk to you about is Lane Johnson, both the situation with him moving forward. You can speak, obviously, to how tough he is and how hard he's going to want to get back on the field. But I'm also curious about your thoughts on Jack Driscoll at right tackle. He's getting a lot of guff. He was put into a tough situation. Obviously, it affected the offense. But if he did have to play moving forward, what would be sort of your level of confidence, and how could the Eagles compensate for, the drop-off from Lane?
Well, I actually, it was kind of fun. I'm announcing the game. I'm getting texts from Lane, from the locker room about how things are going, like what's going on out there. He's asking me what's going on during the game. And he said, as he got rolled up, I think DeAndre hit him from behind. He got rolled up. He's about as tough as they come. I expect him to be able to go. But I actually, nothing against Jack Driscoll, but I actually thought Fred Johnson was going to be their first choice. He was dressed. And, I don't know the pecking order on swing tackles or anything like that. I know Jack has played tackle, played guard. But I kind of thought maybe Fred Johnson would have been better. But the thing that was kind of odd about the whole day, honestly, Bo, like, I didn't understand the Jets were minus Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Eccles. And so they came out throwing the football, and they never really ever got into a rhythm running it. And I'm not here to defend Jack Driscoll, but Bryce Huff and Jermaine Johnson are elite pass rushers. They've been tough on Lane Johnson, to be honest with you. Lane was worried about both of them. But, Jack is in a tough spot right there. I mean, it's a pass rush that is fierce, has been. They pressure the quarterback in a variety of ways, a lot of stunts. So it's difficult. But I thought they could have helped him if they ran the ball better, if they actually put somebody over there to kind of help against some of those edge rushers. So the corner wasn't so short for Bryce Huff in some of those throws.
So, as you're getting the text from Lane, what do you text back? What did you say? How was the game going in your eyes?
I told him that you're having a hard time putting this team away. They're hanging around. That's never a good thing when they just hang around. And I just, I was I basically saying they miss him out there. And they did, they missed, the best right tackle in football against one of the best pass rush defensive fronts in football.
And so if you do believe he plays this weekend and he plays going forward here, he's dealt with ankle injuries before. I know all injuries are different, and it might be a different ankle, but it's had an effect on him. You know that position obviously really well. How do you think he would be out there, and what effect do you think it will have, not just this weekend, but in the next month, 2 months going forward here?
Zach, I remember talking to him this offseason, and I was like, so when was the last sack you gave up? And it was during the pandemic, Cleveland, week 11, Olivier Vernon, who was a pass rusher with the Giants and then Cleveland, and he beat him. And he beat him that day because he couldn't anchor his foot, Zach. Like, his ankle just couldn't plant in the ground, and you could see it. Like, he went to anchor the way you have to drop the anchor at a certain point, and it just wouldn't hold. And so that's what he's up against. I don't know if Jalen Phillips is going, or Emmanuel Agba, or, Andrew Van Ginkel, whoever's out there. Like, can the ankle really brace itself and hold against a power rush or a good pass rusher? And you don't know that. I mean, I don't think he'll probably get a lot of work during the week, but you won't really know how that's going to feel until you're in that predicament.
If we can sort of stick on Lane for a minute, Baldy, since you know him so well, everybody talks about the toughness, playing through that ankle and the midsection that he had last year. Obviously, he's done it forever. Where do you think that comes from for him, and like the duty that he feels to his teammates to be on the field?
Well, he's got a great allegiance to Jeff Stoutland. I mean, it's the only coach he's ever had, right? He came in. They all came in with Chip Kelly in 2013. So there's an allegiance to the coach. He's the leader, and he takes that responsibility seriously. There's no, I mean, there's no sugarcoating this at all. He wants to be a Hall of Fame player. So part of that is understanding the history of this game, the toughness that came before him, and he wants to pass that on. Like when he had the hernia, the double hernia last year, sports hernia, I told him when he got it, I go, dude, like you can try to will yourself through it. McNabb did, Zach Ertz did. Like you go through the list of all the guys that had the surgery. I said it was the hardest thing I ever tried to do. I suited up one game and I was like, I hope I don't have to play. I hope I never have to go in the game, and I didn't. And then I had to, and that put me on the shelf the last couple of weeks. But I don't know how he did that, honestly. Like I know the treatment and everything he did over at his house and the trainers and all the stuff he did, but that doesn't get that healing. That needs a surgery, it needs the mesh. I don't know how he did that. So that level of when I saw him play through the playoffs with that, I go, that's just a different level of athlete and toughness that I've been around.
When you watched the Eagles offense on Sunday and you were there and you've seen the film since then, how do you think it affected Jalen, the changes on the offensive line?
Well, I mean, he was looking to run pretty quick, Zach. He was getting out. He was bailing pretty fast. And, and he made some good throws. We got one guy holding him off with the arm and finding A.J. Brown on 3rd and 7, getting rid of the ball. But he's been susceptible to just leaving the pocket early all year, not just in that game. But, he's not going to stay in there very long. And if Lane isn't there, and it's not a knock on Jack Driscoll, but he knows who's on the other side. He studied the film all week long, and he knows what those guys could do. He was leaving. He was leaving and trying to extend the play outside the pocket, and they made a couple of plays, but they also missed a lot. And so it's just a comfort level. I can't tell. Nobody can tell Jalen, hey, stay in there and do this. But you're going to be better offense. You're going to actually have access to everybody that's out in the route. If you try to beat them from the pocket, you're going to see more, and you're going to hit more plays on timing. They're not hitting enough plays right now, honestly, Zach. They're not hitting enough plays on just rhythm and timing right now. It seems like a very unrhythmic offense at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now, obviously, spinning things forward, the matchup they're going to have on the other side of the ball, Vic Fangio coming to town. He knows this team well. The Eagles know him well. How do you sort of see that side of the matchup this week?
Well, I mean, they're not playing well on defense. They haven't been. I mean, Xavier Howard might be in, might be out, but they haven't been. Jalen Phillips have had no impact this season, and I thought he was going to be a breakout player. Bradley Chubb is just, to me, like it's nothing like what they saw last week. Christian Wilkins is their best defensive lineman. Sua Peta, Kelsey, they're going to see a real beast inside. He's a very good player. They play a pretty simple defense. The thing that they're good at, they don't give up a lot of big plays. I mean, Javon Holland is an amazing free safety. He's a great tackler. He's got a good feel in the passing game. But the idea that Xavier Howard and Jalen Rams were going to line up and play press coverage and blitz like that, that hasn't really happened. So I think they've got some holes defensively right now that I think that Vic is trying to figure out.
On the other side of the ball there, I just got finished speaking to Sean Desai, and I asked him how to compensate for speed. And he mentioned physicality. This Dolphins offense is putting up historic numbers here. What do you expect from that Dolphins defense? What do you expect from, from that Dolphins offense, from this Eagles defense against them?
Well, there's probably certain games, like last week, they probably shouldn't watch. Watch a former Eagle and Raheem Mostert just rip the Carolina Panthers apart. They're going to see more motions, pre-snap motions and shifts than they'll see in any other game. And Mike McDaniel is a master, honestly, Zach. And, when you watch them, all they're trying to do is get you to hesitate and get you to think. Because you're going to see, I already saw motions from last week I've never seen before. And plays I've never seen run before. So, but I think Sean is right. I think the way you compensate for all the the window dressing you're going to see before these plays, and it's a ton. And there's for every run, there's a play action pass for it and off it, and Tua is a master at hiding the ball, all that stuff. But physicality is the compensator for it. If you look at them against the Patriots this year, if you look at them against Buffalo this year, they struggled to get big plays against both those teams. And they tried. They played zone. They kept the safeties back. They defended the run with what was, the 7-man box or 6, whatever they had. And they really forced them to play a conservative style. And I think that's what Sean will really lean towards, especially if Slay gets back and Bradbury's in his place and they're still trying to figure out the nickel position. But if Jalen Carter gets back, I mean, with the way Josh Sweat, Reddick, Fletch, the way those guys are playing right now, if Jalen comes in there, I think that they could give them a lot of problems up front because they're not a very good offensive line, but they do a lot of interesting things that kind of compensate for it.
Baldy, we appreciate the insight as always. What game do you have this weekend?
I'm going to go see the Cleveland Browns in Indianapolis this weekend.
Our guy Michael Dunn.
Quarterback. Now it's starting quarterback for the rest of the year, I guess.
We'll enjoy that. Thank you so much once again, and we'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it, guys. Take care now.
All right, great insight from Baldy.